This is why lions cannot survive in a jungle. Lions are arguably the most iconic and researched wild animals in nature. Not only do they play huge roles in their native ecosystems, but they feature prominently in our own cultures and societies because of our unending fascination with the king of the jungle. In today's video, though, we'll be taking a closer look at the authenticity of that particular title. Do lions really live and reign in the jungle, or do they actually prefer a different form of habitat? And if they don't, what are the reasons? So sit back and relax as we explore the environmental needs of these ancient and magnificent predators. Where lions reign. The lion, Panthera leo, is the world's second largest feline behind the tiger. These massive kitties have been around for quite a while and once had a very wide range, from North America to Europe and even the Far East. In fact, there have been several species of animals called lions throughout history and prehistory. There was the mossbach lion, or Panthera fossilis, one of the oldest Panthera species on record. It lived in northern Europe, as far west as Germany and France, and as far east as Siberia between 700,000 and 340,000 years ago. The mossbach lion was about the same size as Siberian tigers, judging by its fossilized skulls. Then there was the European cave lion, which lived in Eurasia between 600,000 and 13,000 years ago. This ancient beast was about 10% larger than modern lions, and it used its tremendous size to bring down all sorts of large herbivores in the open grasslands and steppes of its home range. We also can't forget about the American lion, Panthera atrox, whose reign lasted between 350,000 and 13,000 years ago. It too was an apex predator larger than its modern cousins, and it terrorized the vast plains and woodlands of prehistoric North America before it was driven to extinction by climate change, competition, and early mankind. Modern Leo lions have been around for at least 1 million years, but some fossils believed to be lions have been dated at 2 million years. It is not clear if, when, or how modern lions diverged from cave lions that ranged from Africa to Eurasia. What we do know is that they were widely distributed in Africa and Eurasia by the Middle Pleistocene. The African populations were forced to diverge from each other because of the expansion of the equatorial rainforests. Populations in North and East Africa were cut off from populations in the southern and western parts of the continent. With time, the Sahara Desert grew and grew until it became another barrier, this time cutting off eastern populations from northern ones. These northern lions would then spread into southern Europe and Asia. Today, wild lions are found exclusively in sub-Saharan Africa and India's Gir National Park. They are completely extinct in Europe, and the last North African lions died in the late 19th century when guns came to the land. The issue of subspecies is a tricky one where lions are concerned. For a while, taxonomists used Panthera leo to refer to African lions, and Panthera leo persica for their Asiatic kin. However, in recent times, other taxonomists have proposed subspecies classification based on focused geographic analysis of potential ancestors. Basically, they analyze geographic circumstances over time and infer which animals moved where and mated with what to produce a certain animal today. For most people, though, a lion is a lion. Massive size, huge teeth, manes, and roaring are what you'll get from any lion, regardless of subspecies. Manes, of course, are the only exception since they only grow on males. As you probably deduced from our earlier lion divergence history lesson, there are at least 2 geographic environments lions generally avoid: deserts and rainforests. So where do they live? Well, lions typically live in open grasslands, commonly known as savannas. They also like sparse woodlands and scrublands. At least 80% of all wild lions, African and Asiatic, live in grasslands, open woodland, and scrubland. These habitats are perfect for all aspects of a lion's way of life. Sociability is one of those aspects. Unlike other wild cats, lions are social animals that generally live in groups called prides. Typical pride consists of females, their offspring, and a dominant male or 2, or 3 or 4. These dominant males are highly territorial and are almost always the sires of a pride's cubs. Life in a pride provides companionship, security, and better food access, since lions often hunt as a team. Unlike many cats that rely on the cover of dense jungle foliage, lions and their young sleep easy in the open because of their strength in numbers. The next reason why lions prefer open space habitats is even more important: hunting and access to food. Like any cat, lions are highly skilled and adaptable hunters who can kill and eat pretty much any animal you can think of. However, their nutritional needs combined with their tendency to live in groups means their food preferences are fairly niche. Mega herbivores are the most common quarry, especially for prides. Small animals like rabbits, birds, fish, or pigs are handy snacks for a solo lion on the go, but are virtually useless for feeding a pride of up to 40 lions, each capable of devouring almost a quarter of their own body weight in raw flesh. Hunting huge animals is the most efficient solution. Buffalo, zebra, wildebeest, giraffe, and even immature elephants are all on the menu for lions with sufficient numbers and courage. A buffalo bull, for example, can feed and satisfy a typical pride for days. Lions generally target herd animals to maximize their chances of making a kill. Their keen eyes help them identify easier targets within a herd: juvenile, elderly, sickly, injured, or disabled animals. Herd animals, though more observant than individuals, often scatter in confused chaos when faced with predators, and this confusion usually works in the lion's favor. So, in order to catch these large herbivores, lions need to be where they are. And where are you most likely to encounter buffalo, zebra, wildebeest, and giraffe? You guessed it, grasslands and scattered woodlands. Lions also benefit from their habitats when it comes to the actual hunting. You see, lions are not marathon runners that pursue prey for hours on end like wolves or African wild dogs. Their hunting strategy involves short, powerful sprint bursts with a top speed of 50 miles per hour. However, many of the animals they hunt can match or even exceed that pace, and many of those fast movers have lions beat for endurance too. So, for the best chance of success, lions need to get very close to their targets before exploding into hot pursuit. To do this, they use a bit of stealth to stalk and creep up on potential victims so they can minimize the pursuit gap as much as possible and, hopefully, catch the prey unawares. At the heart of this stealth is the lion's own hide. Their tawny, light brown coats allow them to blend almost seamlessly in the tall grass. The illusion is more effective in the eyes of many prey animals like antelope and deer, whose own eyesight is less than great and can only pick up movements. Essentially, a squad of well-seasoned lionesses may be virtually invisible to prey until the very last moment. One particularly crafty hunting strategy lions use involves one or two lions revealing themselves to prey in an attempt to herd it toward an ambush of more camouflaged lions. Lion experts suggest that this need for stealth is why female lions do most of the hunting. With smaller bodies and no manes, lionesses are far better at remaining hidden than the hulking and extravagantly hairy males. Male lions tend to participate in pursuits that require more power than stealth, like buffalo or giraffe hunts. As you can see, lions' open habitats facilitate their general social system, support the bulk of their preferred prey, and are perfectly suited to their hunting strategies and pursuit styles. Chasing and wrestling giant herbivores with your 250-pound sisters and cousins is best done in wide open spaces. Can lions survive in a true jungle? Remember how we said most wild lions live in open grasslands and woodlands? Well, a relatively small number lives in atypical habitats too. Some live in the semi-deserts of Namibia. Others live in the sprawling swamps of Botswana's Okavango Delta. In East Africa, lions may be found as high as the snow caps of the continent's highest peaks. And in the West, some tropical jungles aren't exactly lion-free. To be frank, the presence of lions in some of these environments is more of a testament to the animal's adaptability, rather than proof of these environments being ideal lion habitats. Dense tropical jungles, in this case, are still not the ideal environment for lions to thrive independently. Firstly, very few preferred prey animals live in tropical forests. Sure, there are bush bucks, forest buffaloes, and even primates, but most of these animals are too small to feed a pride, and some are generally quite rare and endangered in their own right. Many of the animals that can sustain them and their fellow pride members are grazers that live in open grasslands. Secondly, lions themselves are not perfectly suited to forest hunting. Their camouflage might still work in a forest or in the dark, but it may not always be as effective. Also, keeping silent in a thick forest with plenty of leaves and twigs on the ground is not easy, especially when you weigh 300 pounds or more. Pursuing prey would also be a challenge. Though agile, lions are more used to chasing after their food in wide open areas where they can collaborate effectively with their pride mates. Chasing bushbuck through dense bushes and congested trees will not do their chances of success any favors. One area of weakness that would count against jungle lions is their limited tree climbing ability. Their bulk and typical prey choices mean lions rarely ever need to climb trees for food, except maybe hijacking some poor leopard's kill. Sure, they can get up a tree trunk and lounge among large low-lying branches, but there is a 0% chance of a lion climbing quickly and nimbly enough to catch something like a chimpanzee or a bonobo. Apart from food difficulties, life in forests has other challenges. Cubs, the future of any lion pride, will be exposed to different potential predators. Jungle cats and the aforementioned chimpanzees would doubtless kill and eat lion cubs while their parents are away on long, fruitless hunts. Communication could also be hindered. Lions use roaring to broadcast all sorts of medium and long-range messages to friends, lovers, and rivals. We all know how effectively lions can send and receive these messages in their regular habitats. However, we don't know how effective this method of communication would be in an environment with dense vegetation for miles all around. Would wandering nomadic males find prides as effectively as they do in typical habitats? Would some lion groups be cut off from others completely in radio silence? Ironically, it seems that for lions to truly thrive in jungle conditions, they would have to let go of certain characteristics that make them lions in the first place. They would likely need to shrink in size to lower energy and caloric demands, and they would probably have to become solitary so they can hunt smaller prey to sustain themselves. Doubtless, these evolutions and adaptations would have ripple effects of their own too. Barring such changes, though, it is safe to say that while lions could survive in the jungle, they are not set up to thrive in it.